Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Walky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana here with coffee time number 62 at Walky Pots Studio. It's a fairly early Sunday morning for us. We don't normally do these this early. We've got a couple things kicking today, and so we decided to get an early start with it.
Yes, that's right. Wanted to make sure we got it done. And today, of course, the clock sprung forward.
That's right. So we feel like we're rushed anyway, just because of the time.
Right. And of course, we have sun streaming in the window that we don't normally have. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, we had a wonderful week last week. Not a lot of things made here in the studio, but we did make a lot of things with our 3D printer in the house that's going to be used in the studio. That's
right. The 3D printer came in and we put it to use immediately. Yes. I think I checked and we've got about 40 hours of print time on it already. We've only had it for a few days. So it's been going almost constantly since I unpacked it.
And I do know several folks were very interested to know what we had made with it so far. So I thought we would share some of the things that we did make, some successes, some failures.
Right, but it's all a learning experience.
Yes. Really. And I have a big learning curve ahead of me. I'm getting there.
I have an advantage because I taught using 3D printers for many years. And although that was many years ago, at least I have more of a basis of understanding and a framework to build on. But you're learning everything almost from scratch. And I got to give Diana credit, you guys. She sat down for an entire day just to figure out Procreate, this one task that she was trying to do. And I think you're pretty successful, right?
Yes, I finally figured out how to make a seamless pattern. It was a struggle and failure after failure after failure until finally it worked.
And as we do this, the idea, one of the reasons for having the 3D printer in the first place is so that we can draw our own designs, make them into a repeating pattern, and then turn that design into a roller or a stamp that we can use on our clay. And I think it's been a very successful week as far as figuring things out and using those things.
And like with rollers, we have a Raggedy Daisy.
Right, and this, we didn't design this one. This was printed out from either Thingiverse or Printables. I can't remember, but it was free.
Right.
So we made this up.
We wanted to try. We wanted to see how the printer would do making a 3D printer.
So we printed this out. It's pretty solid plastic, probably heavier than it needs to be. And don't worry, I will show closer pictures of the roller and then the cup that Diana made using the roller. And it turned out fantastic, way beyond our expectations. But we did other things too.
Yes. Along the lines of that, here was another thing that we found, and I was like, I don't know, I'll give it a try. But there was this cup that has facets on it. You actually put a handle in so that it could be pulled out.
Right. I opened this up in a 3D design program called Tinkercad, which is super easy and anybody could use it. But I added this handle inside so we could wrap clay around it and then pull it out of a form. Yes. And I think we discovered the first thing we really hate. We're never going to do this again.
I'm not a person who likes molds to begin with. I love adding texture and things with rollers and found objects and all, but I really don't like using a mold. But I tried it. We what's the white powder? A cornstarch. We covered in the clay in cornstarch. Here is the cup that came off, and you can still see the cornstarch.
It's kind of ugly.
It really is. And not only that, it reminds me of, if y'all ever watched Sesame Street, it looks like Oscar the Grouch's trash can.
Which would be fine if we were doing that on purpose, but that's not what we were going for. It was not an easy process.
It wasn't fun.
And it didn't save any time. It took probably 4 times longer than it
Yes.
would have done without it. So we won't be doing that again.
No, I could have made a cup like this, and then I could have taken a clay knife and just gone down and cut some facets in.
That's the way to do it next time.
Yes.
We won't try to mold anything
So,
like that again.
not doing that. Maybe at some point in time I'll find something else. But
However, as a learning experience, it was
was
invaluable.
good.
So
Yes.
we won't be throwing any more time in that direction.
The-
What we will do though is our stamps and our rollers.
yes, sorry, I keep interrupting. Can you tell I'm in this like, let's move kind of.
Well, we have a busy day. I have to go to
Yeah.
the Chincoteague Island Farmers and Artisans Market meeting for the crafters this
Yes.
afternoon. And Diana has her all-day retreat for knitting, her knitting
Yes,
retreat.
see,
In
and
fact, she made the sweater that she's wearing
Yes.
right now.
Not at this retreat. I actually did this on my own. I'm making a scarf, a diagonal scarf at this retreat. But that's where I've been Friday, Saturday, and today.
Yep, so you've been
Yay!
having a great time. We're trying to
I
get
have.
our coffee time filmed before she leaves
Yes.
for the
So
day.
if I seem a little bit rushed, it's just because I'm excited.
It's going to be a great day.
It is.
So let me talk to you about this circle former, rim rounder. I made this on our 3D printer, and I'm not super happy with it because one of the settings that I had, it's a little bumpy. I'm going to have to take some fine sandpaper and smooth the outside edge. But the idea behind this is we use it on larger pots for checking the roundness. Now, it is really too big for something like this or even something like this, but it's great for a bowl. We have a smaller one that is too small for like cups like this. So we need one that's one size smaller than this. So I will print this out at probably 75% of this size, and then we'll have a range of rim rounders that will work for us. And this printed out fantastic. It printed out very, very well, and it's going to be a great tool. But some of the custom things that we did are also very important.
Very cool.
Diana was drawing mushrooms in Procreate, which is an app on our iPads. And she started with a small mushroom design that worked fine, but it printed out at too fine of a resolution.
And not high enough. There's no way if you push that into clay you'd ever get that back
It's
out.
it's not tall enough to get a good grip on it.
So that was test one.
Still useful, but not perfect.
Oh, and also the little gills on this side didn't print.
They were too thin to print.
So then, take two.
This is the first iteration.
Yes. I like that word, iteration.
Well, that's a teachy word, right?
Yes.
You got to iterate.
Second one. Okay. You definitely can see that one better. But in this one, again, the gills did print, but they didn't print all the way. They still were just too close together and too thin. And once again, this one is thicker than the first one, but still not practical for pushing into
It
clay.
needs to be taller.
So, second
That was the second iteration.
I like that word. I'm going to use that word. Okay. And then our third one, which I have used and Carolyn used also. I didn't do
We
anything.
don't have one out here.
No, but it's on hers. So anyway, but this one works quite well. You can see that I removed some of the gills. So there are fewer gills, so they had no problems printing. They go in the clay well, and they look crisp. And when I put it into the clay, I have enough of the material left over, the plastic, to pick it back up. So that's
Now,
good.
the next step for this would be for us to make a cutter that goes around the outside of it.
Yes.
So that it cuts out that shape.
And then I could turn it into an ornament.
Right, a badge or whatever.
Or a badge.
So
There's so many possibilities.
All three of these printed
Yes.
out, and it's important to note that the process was very straightforward and very easy and very simple. All of those together printed out, if we look at total print time, less than 2 hours for all three of them if you add the print times together. So it was not at all a time-consuming or difficult thing. One of the things that I am most proud of, that I think is coolest, is our Wocky Pots roller.
He did that.
And And I took our Walky Pots logo, and don't worry, yes, I will definitely show closer pictures of it. I took our Walky Pots logo, reversed it, and put it on the outside of a cylinder. And now we can roll our Walky Pots logo onto a slab of clay, and then use that slab of clay to make something. And I'm not real good at the hand building, and I was kind of rushed, but I have this mug that has our Walky Pots logo on it now. I pushed the logo through a sheet of clear plastic plastic wrap. So it's not as sharp as maybe it should have been. I should have probably pushed a little harder to get it to imprint more.
I don't
but
know.
I'm still very happy with how this turned out.
Yeah.
If we put an underglaze on this and then wipe it back, I think it's going to look fantastic. Very happy with it. And we also made a smaller version of that, the exact same thing, but that was maybe a little too small. We lost a little bit of the resolution and sharpness with it. But this would be something that we could possibly roll along the bottom of a piece and use it as a maker's mark. I think we need to simplify our maker's mark though and make it a little smaller. But that's what we did.
And then here is another attempt, but a failure. This was me doing the seamless design.
And they were cute little flowers, you guys.
They were adorable.
But they were just too teeny tiny.
Too teeny tiny. So I need to stop sooner in the seamless process. So because right now when I rolled this one into clay, it didn't look anything like flowers. It kind of looked like itty bitty teeny tiny
paw prints.
Now,
one thing, this is an example though. We noticed that it wasn't printing out right, and we stopped it halfway through. It should have been considerably taller, but we saw that it wasn't going to be perfect, so I stopped the printer and we just pulled it off. And it might be neat for a little texture or something, but in order to make it look like flowers, the individual flowers need to be much, much larger. So we're going to do that. But we printed out a lot of things. We also have this Luna Moth stamp that we printed. We didn't design this. This is, again, not one that we designed. But the idea is that we will be able to take any drawing or graphic and turn it into a stamp.
Yes, and I did do a drawing this week, but there was something not right in the
SVG?
Thank you, in the SVG of it, because I had drawn a blue heron in the water, standing with cattails and reeds around it, and in the background more marsh. We're
going to work on that. I think I know exactly what happened. It took the parts that you were erasing and turned them into a white line, and then the white line was picked up by the program that takes it from one format to the other, and it treated those white lines as if they were supposed to be solid black lines.
Yeah. So hopefully next week we will have that image done and put onto a cup, because that's one that it's my own personal artwork, and that's kind of where we want to be able to go. We want to be able to, when we're at the market this summer, show people, oh, here is our artwork, and here is how we turned it into something that could be used to put into clay. And then here's the final piece here.
I would love to draw a picture of a Shintik pony myself, draw the picture, turn it into a stamp, and then stamp that into mugs. And that's where we're going with it. That's the idea.
So very exciting with this new 3D printer. I love it. The other thing that happened last week was Carolyn had her first class here in the studio.
Carolyn had her first solo teaching experience here in the studio. And I think she did fantastic. She did a little cup class, and I think everybody had a fantastic time. So congrats, Carolyn. And if we get a chance, I will show some pictures of some of the things.
And in fact, one of them actually used our Walky Pots.
Oh, that's right.
Roller.
Yeah. And I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. They did a better job using the roller than I did, but that's okay.
It's okay. That's okay.
That's right.
The point is, you designed this,
right?
And that's awesome. So it was great. We also had our line art class. That was fun.
Right. Our
it was
homeschool
wonderful.
art class. The subject was line last week. Next week it's shape.
Yes.
Can't wait to do that. We'll use Nan Carlton's book to talk about shape, definitely, because she uses paper cuts.
That'd be wonderful
in her work.
And just to let you know, if you were wondering how I honestly did do in the bowling tournament, I didn't come in dead last. I came in third from last.
Which was an accomplishment. But you know what? Even if she did come in dead last, it would be perfectly fine, perfectly okay.
Yes. So why don't you go ahead and share your challenge for the week last week?
Okay, so my challenge was trying to get back in this whole mode of thinking for 3D printing. It really requires a different set of knowledge than I've had to use here in the studio. When we're thinking about taking a JPEG image and making it into a different format, an SVG, scalable vector graphic, so that we
Glad you know that word.
so that we can manipulate it onto a 3D shape. And then the whole process of learning how to put that shape on the outside of a cylinder to turn it into a roller, it was a real challenge, but it was a fun challenge. And I think that's kind of what we always need to remember. Not every challenge has to be something that is a difficult or painful time. Challenges can be fun too.
True.
And it was fun to take that little bit of 3D printing knowledge that I had and stack onto it a little bit. It was also kind of challenging to get used to the idea of the newer technology with the 3D printers. The new 3D printer that I have is not a top of the line best you can buy by any stretch, but it is leagues ahead of the one that I used to have, which was much, much slower and didn't have any kind of internal memory or network connectivity or any of the stuff that makes the newer ones better. So that's been my challenge.
Yes.
But it's been a fun one. So what that means you get the highlight.
I do. I get the highlight. And my highlight this week is using the Procreate. The using of the Procreate is not my highlight. My highlight is the fact I did not give up.
Yep. You just kept trudging on and trudging on and trudging.
Did.
She pushed through it, you guys.
I did, because
and that's
normally when it comes to technology, I'll try for a little bit and then I'm like, forget it. Never mind. I'm a paper pencil person. Mm-hmm. And I didn't give up. I went ahead and I plowed on through. And I persevered.
And you did a great job. That is definitely a highlight.
It is.
So it has been a week of 3D printing. And in case you're wondering, all of the stuff that we've made, if we added it all up for how much it would cost to buy all of the plastic bits and stuff that we've made, the 3D printer would be half paid for just from the plastic things that we've made that we didn't have to buy. But we've also been printing out these little Dungeons and Dragons plastic figurines. And if we add in the value of those, how much it would cost for somebody to print those for us, the printer has already paid for itself in 1 week of time. So
it's a good thing.
It's been a great thing. We've been really enjoying it.
And we need to get ready to go ahead and wrap this up.
That's right, because you get a busy
you've got
day.
the meeting, and I have my retreat.
Busy day. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. And I know it's not springtime yet, but man, it is on its way.
Yes, it is.
All right, toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care. See you later. Have a fantastic day, no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.